The board?
I have one. Oh,
Go ahead, sir.
thank you, sir. Will there be a commissioner on that steering committee or no? All but us?
Typically, you could have a commissioner. Some communities will have one elected person maybe to represent the board. Some communities have a planning board member or two to represent planning board. And then you could have a mix. Typically, we want a wide range of people that are exposed and work with the UDO. So, I mean, it's up to you all, but, I mean, there's many communities who have a board member or a planning board member or both.
Typical timeline, start to finish, not holding you to anything? but
Yeah,
just,
so,
is it a 90-day thing or a 18-month thing, or?
So originally it was 18 months and we got started. And we've done some background work with the consultant. And so we're looking at about a year from now it'll be done. Yep.
Thank you.
And we will be appointing the steering committee,
Yes. Yep.
and we'll put out like a call for applications for various folks of different types and outline kind of the responsibilities and.
We can certainly do that if you all have,
I think a good opportunity is when we meet with the consultant and y'all one-on-one is we get your feedback on your preferences. So y'all might have just some offline one-on-ones.
Yep.
Just talk about or think about your individual interest in that. There are a lot of pros and cons to different viewpoints on that, and we'd like to be able to talk through with that. Sometimes it's easier to get general feedback in the groups that y'all want to be seen and some general names, but it's hard to pick one or two people and slight others. And so sometimes you want staff to provide recommendations based on who works with town on a regular basis, just to provide that. So if we could have some conversation, there's a wide latitude to it and who all's on it.
Also, members of this board, based on those meetings, all of us, we already have input on it. So it might be nice to have input from others and us not crowd that base.
on the Blueprint Wendell 2030 steering committee, there was no elected
Yeah.
board members on it. There was a planning board member or two, but not an elected member.
Mayor, you know, I think this is what you're pointing out. When you and I are in a room, it changes the dynamic of a room.
It does, and I think we want them to
It's how y'all want.
freely and have their input, because they get to vote on it. That they get input, and they get those one-on-ones as well for that, so.
Yeah, and typically the steering committee would meet probably 3 or 4 times in this next year. And so we want to make sure there's people who are available, whether that's maybe it's a nighttime meeting,
Right.
daytime, but typically we've had them out of our normal work schedule, as most of the board members, steering committee members had daytime jobs, and
Yeah.
we did those meetings at night, so.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Item 4D is the fiscal year 2026 monthly financial reports through December 2025.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, Board of Commissioners. As usual, the financial reports have been included in your packet. Happy to answer any questions if you may have them.
Thank you. Any questions from the board about the financial reports? All right,
All right.
thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Item 4E is review of Citizen Advisory Board appointment process and upcoming vacancies. And we're going to hear from Mary Beth Tu, our town clerk. Good evening.
Good evening. So this is just a reminder of the process for the Citizen Advisory Board appointments. The recruitment began February 1st, and it's going to run through Friday, May 15th. The vacant positions will be routinely advertised on the town's website and social media. And the application is located on the town website. It's super easy to fill out, and it sends it straight to us. And it's located under the Citizen Advisory Board tab. Citizens can also submit written applications by mail or bring them directly to Town Hall. Emails have been sent out to all those with terms expiring, letting them know if they're eligible to reapply for the same board, because they can only serve 2 consecutively, or if they've already served 2 consecutively, letting them know that we appreciate their time and they're welcome to apply for a different board, but they won't be eligible to apply for that same board for a 3rd term in a row. Once the application period has closed, all the applications will be compiled and sent to the board for review. So you guys are able to reach out to them, ask any questions you may have, and then they'll be brought back for appointments. This year, the following vacancies are available. The Board of Adjustment has 5 vacancies, and 2 of those are located in the ETJ. The Downtown Development Committee also has five vacancies. The Parks and Recreation Commission has 4 vacancies. The Planning Board has 3 vacancies, and 2 of those are ETJ. And the Appearance Commission has 4 vacancies. So I think altogether it's 20 or 21, so we have a lot of room for citizens to participate, and we're really excited and encourage citizens. And people can apply for more than one, so if they're interested in multiple, they can put them on the same application. Just check whichever ones they're interested in.
Thank you.
Quick question.
Yeah.
Do you mind, could you send us like a one-pager of the list of like these people that are in these seats right now, of the ones that have hit the term limit already? Mostly, just, I know that,
I'm pretty sure there's only 2 total.
Okay.
There might be 3. I could tell you who they are now, or I can email, but there's only
After-
1 on Planning Board and 1 on Parks and Recreation. All of the other one, this is their first term, so they'll still be
We'll
eligible.
provide that to you.
Yeah.
and I know that
Mail it.
we won't get their applications, but it's more of like sometimes when I'm looking at the applications, I'll think, why is this person who's on the board not
Yes.
in this batch? And just, it'll be easier. I wouldn't have to make the phone
I can
call if I
definitely
had
get that
that
to you.
list. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, item 4F is a Parks and Recreation Master Plan update. We're going to hear from our Parks and Rec Director, Jeff Pulaski. Good evening.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and Commissioners. So today I'm going to be presenting on the implementation of the current master plan that we have that was conducted in 2019 in preparation for our RFQ for the new master plan document. And as you'll see, we've covered a lot of ground with this current master plan, and there's just not a lot left in it for us to accomplish, which is a good thing, as you'll see. All right, so there's our agenda. First of all, I want to talk about each of the different park rankings. So first one you'll see here is a regional park. These are typically your larger size parks that are drawing people from a farther distance out. And it gives the typical facilities that you'll find at a typical regional park, generally 150 to 1,000 acres to meet those requirements. Next up is your district park. These are parks that are generally 5 acres to 1,000 acres. Service area is a little smaller. You're down to a mile to 2.5 mile radius. The desirable acreage for these are 75 to 200. And then you can also see there the typical facilities that are found at these. Excuse me. So community park, like what we have at Wendell, our Wendell Park, is the service area is generally 1 to 2 miles. Ratio is 2 to 5 acres per 1,000 people. You're generally wanting about 15 to 50 acres for those. Next up is a neighborhood park. Those are serviced in 3/4 of a mile to a mile radius, generally a walking or biking distance to a neighborhood park is what you're wanting. Generally about 2 acres per 1,000 people. Desirable range is between 7 and 15 acres. And then mini parks, or sometimes you'll hear me call them pocket parks. Going through college, we called them pocket parks, but so they're generally 1/4 to a 1/2 mile radius, definitely serving a walking community, biking community, and they're going to range from a 1/2 acre per 1,000 people. So desirable range in those is just over an acre. All right, so these are the general recommendations that we had from our master plan that was completed in 2019. So recommendation number 1 had to deal with facility and program accessibility. We're proud to say that all of our parks that are currently being designed are meeting all the ADA requirements. It's very obvious with the Hollybrook Park being a completely ADA accessible park, down to even our playground that we installed there. And we did do some minor improvements at the Wendell Community Center and at the Senior Center that came up with the ADA study that was done a couple years ago. Recommendation number 2 was design and daily maintenance. Parks and Recreation capital projects are designed with the town's current and future aesthetics in mind, trying to keep things designed similar to something like Town Hall. The department, we do have daily, weekly, and monthly maintenance checklists, which are done by our maintenance department, depending on what type of, if it's a chainsaw versus a truck. But we maintain all of those inspections daily, monthly, and weekly. Recommendation number 3 was making our communities more walkable. The town partners with developers to incorporate pedestrian-friendly facilities throughout our designs and through our implementation of the fee in lieu. Number 4 was the contiguous property acquisition. The town consistently seeks opportunities to acquire property for future park projects. Recommendation number 5, greenways, multi-use trails. Town is making progress with multi-use paths along Wendell Falls Parkway and with the finalization of the Greenway Master Plan, which we have a group working on currently. Number 6, Greenway funding. Fee in lieu is evaluated on current costs to build land infrastructure and adopting the Greenway Plan, which will help assist with that in future builds. Bicycle facilities. The town enforces the requirements outlined in the town's arterial and collector street plan, and also encourages golf cart parking whenever we have that opportunity. Wayfinding, we will be using a lot of the wayfinding stuff when we start getting into some of the greenways, and we'll also be implementing and coordinating in partnership with the communications department on those. Intergovernmental coordination. So the town regularly participates with our neighboring communities and the county through meetings. We also play a lot of sports with our neighbors. We host a lot of community meetings between our neighboring communities. We also regularly check on policy things, or, what are people charging for softball, for an example, so we can kind of all stay in the same range and being neighborly. Number 10, developers. The town evaluates per project parks and recreation needs and determines its facilities as needed, whether they are public or private. Recommendation number 11 was partnership agreements. Existing partnerships with Pleasant Grove Baptist Church, the North Carolina Football Club, and the Wendell Rams provide expanding recreation opportunities for residents and members. Interpretive signage is incorporated into current and future park projects. Educating and stewardship programming. The town partners volunteers to offer educational programming opportunities in our park facilities. Greenway buildings. This one we always ask for consideration when we're meeting with the design teams, and try to implement those when the budget does allow. Typically, the green building does cost a little more. Acceptance of fee simple land donation. Staff evaluates and has obtained land through a variety of sources for parks, greenways, and open space. National and Cultural Heritage Inventory. Efforts to conduct a study will be incorporated into the future master plan update. And so then our next recommendations have to do with our existing facilities. One of the top things on there was taking care of what we already have, which at the time was only Wendell Park. So these were some of the updates that we've done to Wendell Park. Was updating the concession stand, replace the old restrooms with a new ADA facility. We have started rotating our infield improvements, which bringing in new soil, which cuts down on maintenance, cuts down on cancellation of games. It helps keep our ball fields looking nice. This past year, we added lights on Field 3, which gave us another field to work on. Previously, it was only a practice field. Beach volleyball did receive a renovation last year, bringing in previously there was a playground that was down there. Once we got the new playground built at Wendell Park, the one down there we took out, what did we do with a big sand area? We had an Eagle Scout come to us and wanted to build a volleyball court there. So what was in there was playground sand, not the correct sand for playing beach volleyball. So this past year, we replaced that sand that was there with the correct sand. Wendell Park did receive the addition of 4 new pickleball courts, which are lit. The addition of one picnic shelter, which does have 8 tables under. Future plans for a splash pad and bike skate park with a pump track at Wendell Park. And Currently, they're planning for the Third Street Road improvements through Wendell Park connected to Industrial Drive, which will help feed a future recreation center, as well as the Wendell Athletic Field Complex. New fences were added to Doug Proctor and Jake Mayfields in the past couple of years, and new LED lighting installed at the tennis courts. And so these were facility proposals and recommendations through the master plan. Excuse me. So adult and youth basketball, so addition of 2 outdoor courts at Hollybrook were added. We're preparing for the design for the new multi-court recreation center. And construction has begun at the Carver Community Center at Pleasant Grove, which will include a half court. Soccer was another facility proposal, and we're getting ready to start construction with the new Wendell Athletic Field Complex in conjunction with the NCFC and Wendell Rams. Pickleball courts, everybody wants pickleball courts. So we've added 8 pickleball courts this past year in Wendell, 4 at Hollybrook Park, which are not lit, and then the 4 at Wendell Park, which are lit. Volleyball courts, we are preparing also with the new multi-court at Rec Center that we'll be designing. Those courts also will turn over into volleyball courts. And the addition of small games courts, we did add the concrete cornhole boards at Hollybrook Park. Next recommendation was more picnic shelters and tables, which we did add 1 shelter with 8 tables at Hollybrook and the new shelter at Wendell Community Park. Playground activities, we needed to add more playgrounds, and we did it with Hollybrook alone with the inclusive playground at Hollybrook, which is amazing for all abilities. And then the adventure playground, which was designed by Beanstalk, which is down in the woods. Walking, hiking trails and bikeways. We'll be adding Buffalo Creek Greenway Phase 1 soon. Main Street Greenway, we just had a pre-construction meeting on. And the development of the new Greenway plan is currently going on. Next recommendation was the construction of new neighborhood parks. So we did open Hollybrook Park this past year. Main Street Park is in design, and then the Pleasant Grove Neighborhood Park is scheduled for fiscal year 2028. So then they broke down in the master plan, kind of prioritized project tasks. The ones with checks beside them are ones that we have currently already done. The ones that aren't checked are things that we're currently working on. So they wanted us to analyze opportunities to partner with neighboring recreation departments, which we do on a daily basis. Update the town park play equipment to include accessible and adventure-type play, which we did at Hollybrook. Repave the town park's entry drive and parking areas, which is already in plan. Enhance town parks landscaping and lighting, lighting at the Wendell Community Park, landscaping at Hollybrook Park, adding wayfinding and mileage information signs along park trails. Plan for future greenway projects, and expand the Wendell Community Center fitness area and add additional equipment, which was added out at Hollybrook Park. The next one was begin trail improvements from the town park to Wendell Falls via Buffalo Creek Swamp property. Buffalo Creek Phase 1 construction will be beginning in 2026. Access to assess the condition at the stage at J. Ashley Wall Square and make repairs to replace with another outdoor performance structure has not been completed at this time. But it is planned as part of the Public Works facility improvements. Planned park improvements and improve the ADA accessibility of J. Ashley Wall Square. That was done with the addition of sidewalks and paving the gravel parking lot. The design plan for 2030 at the Wendell Community Park. Implement feasibility planning and land acquisition for 3 neighborhood parks that's been done with Hollybrook, Main Street, and Pleasant Grove. Implement feasibility planning, land acquisition for 2 new community parks, which would be North Side, and property acquisition in the process for an additional park. Continue development of greenway trails per existing planning efforts. We all know that Buffalo Creek and Main Street are getting close to starting construction. Implement park improvements at J. Ashley Wall Square, ADA improvements. The gazebo has been rebuilt. Construction of the splash pad and property adjacent to J. Ashley Wall Square, that's been changed. We're going to now build that splash pad in Wendell Park, but it is scheduled. Construction of additional picnic pavilion at the town park. So we've got both of those covered with the community park and at Hollybrook. Install additional small games courts at the town park. We did add a bocce court and horseshoe pits, and we had a cornhole at Hollybrook. Plan and design for a 1.4-mile paved multi-purpose trail on one side of the street, west of Pool Road and Jake May Drive intersection, requiring developers to incorporate a multi-purpose path in the design. Continued development of the Greenway trails per previous planning efforts. We're covering that one with Buffalo Creek and Main Street. And the next part, I'm going to turn over to Brian Coates. He is the expert on all things this.
Not the expert, but I'm also not the jewel either. So what you see on this,
He's just jealous.
it is.
Jealousy.
So to give you a little background on this map, what you'll see in kind of the dark green is our current park properties, in that like foresty green. The light yellowish colors are projects for parks that are part of developments that will either include land dedication, park facility dedication, or a hybrid. And so I'll go over each of those with you. But geographically, you can see our current parks facilities are now, Northside Park is and that kind of is on one side of the community. And then you look at Hollybrook Park, which is on the south side. So geographically, we're trying to hit a lot of different geographies. And so I'll go over what those mean. So Wendell Park and Community Center, it's roughly 72 acres. We would classify that as like a district park. Hollybrook Park, J. Ashley Wall, Carver Fields, Pine Street Basketball Court, which is the court at the police station, Pleasant Grove Athletic Field, which we are now utilizing behind Pleasant Grove Baptist. The Wendell Athletic Field Complex, which is in design right now, is not just down the street here. The Wendell Recreation Center as well. Northside Park is in planning phases. Tarpley Mill Pond, which is the land we own jointly with Zebulon out at Little River. And then the Carver Community Center, which is under construction. So some upcoming park projects that are part of a development plan or rezoning. So the Jones Tract, which is off Lake Glad. The 3.8 acre neighborhood park will contain pickleball, playground, parking lot, and walking trails. And that is connected to the Edwards Tract, which is the development to the north, which includes a 3 acre, what would be classified as a mini park with a multi-purpose field that will be able to, both facilities are connected and will be dedicated to the town once built. So that we don't have to do design, we don't have to fund, other than once they become online, we do have to fund the maintenance and upkeep of those. Acorn Creek is out on Wendell Falls. It is what was once a driveway to get back to a resident's home who sold that. That's the Acorn Creek community is a small community just north of Wendell Falls. They did, as part of a zoning condition, dedicate that 1.5 acre land dedication for what we would consider a linear park. So it's wide enough for a potential multi-use path and maybe some other low intensity, but it connects some Wendell Falls phases north of Taylor Road. Haven at Wendell, which was just before you this past fall, includes a 10 acre neighborhood park that will get built by the developer and turned over to the town. Edwards, which is, I mentioned when we talked about Jones Tract. Ammons, the Ponder project. It was referred to as Ammons in the past, as that was the landowners. Now it's Ponder. Will include a minimum 5 acre neighborhood park site for us where some 2 greenways come together that will be publicly dedicated. So that 5 acre neighborhood park is a land dedication, and then we'll have to plan facilities for that. West End, which is out near Martin Pond and Wendell Falls, includes 4.3 acres of a mini park. They are going to be building a small parking lot and ADA access to that parkland, which is unique because it's a small wooded little area that might give us some different programming. Buffalo Station is at Jake May in Wendell Falls Parkway. That was the dedication where they're having some courts built in an adventure play and would be dedicating that to the town. Which helps serve the neighboring residential development that was built in the 90s and early 2000s that does not have any open space. So this will give them public open space nearby. South Main Street, we talk about the Main Street Greenway, and this is roughly almost 8.5 acres at the end of the Greenway, which will be, is land dedicated, it was dedicated to us, we own it now, from the developer to create a neighborhood park. And I can field any questions you have, and I'll just go back to the map so you can look at locations. And if you have any questions, I can hopefully answer those.
Any questions from the board? Okay, I don't think so.
Okay.
Is this on the whole presentation? Question? I mean, it's not really a question.
Jeff has some more
Does
slides.
Jeff have
so-
more? Okay, that's fine.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, so now talk about the master plan update RFQ process. So the town is seeking qualified recreation planning consultants to provide professional service for updating the master plan that we currently have. The selected consultant will work closely with town staff and Parks and Recreation Commission and other identified stakeholders throughout the planning process. The final comprehensive Parks and Recreation Master Plan will include comprehensive inventory of all existing park facilities, an assessment and analysis of current and future recreation needs, recommendation for facilities, programs, and policies, and an implementation strategy to guide phasing and prioritization. The final plan will be reviewed and presented to the Town Board of Commissioners for approval. Town anticipates the completion of the master plan will take within a 12-month time frame and be done hopefully early 2027. And these are the different tasks. This is for the scope of work that we'll be putting out. So we'll be looking for inventory and assessment of existing town demographics, community input, funding evaluation, recommendation and action plan, and then deliverables. Oops, sorry. And then the RFQ process summary with dates and times. These aren't solid. These aren't in stone yet. We're still making our way through it, but we're getting really close to getting ready to hopefully get this put out and start getting some applications in for that master plan update.
And just to clarify, in case any consultants are watching that may submit, it will likely be an RFP and not an RFQ. Request for proposals, not qualifications.
All right, any questions?
Now, any questions?
Kind of a comment, really more than a question, but, you know, Jeff, I've seen you and your team and the town as a whole in the past do really well, sort of in competitive grant programs and things like that by working against rubrics that are like really clear and set out and doing exactly what we've been asked to do and showing our work and that sort of thing. Sort of in that line, I kind of think there's a set of sort of pretty widely publicized and recognized metric points and statistics, I think, that have popped up around access to parks. So I'm thinking about like Trust for Public Lands, Park Score, the Walk Score on Zillow has a parks access component, some of those things. Something I'd be interested in, and not to blow the scope of this up, so that just if it fits, would be like how can we game those systems a little bit? Like how can we make sure that we're building the parks that we need, but if it's right here instead of right here, you end up doing better on some scoring list too. And for the purpose of not just having the ranking, but being able to, I think, brag about what we've done, but continue to be recognized, I think, and people know that Wendell's a place they can come to live near or work near or build a business near all the sort of public amenities that folks want to have in their communities. I think there's some of those data points and metrics and statistics that I'd be interested in thinking about how we could reflect how good of a job we're already doing and are planning to do in the future.
Okay.
Anyone else? All right, thank you. It's very exciting. All right, we have no public hearings tonight, so we'll move into our administrative items. And the first, item 6A, is a Meet on Main Road closure and co-sponsorship request for 2026. I'm going to hear from our Assistant Town Manager, Ms. Smith.
Good evening. Meet on Main is back once again, so before you to request approval of a temporary closure of sections of Main Street, Campen, Depot, and 4th, as well as approval of the co-sponsorship request for the 2026 Meet on Main event dates. The dates for this year are April 17th, May 15th, June 19th, September 18th, and a rain date of October 16th. Hopefully that won't be needed this year as it has in the past. The specific the sections of road that are requested are listed before you. As a reminder, in 2018, the Wendell Community Partnership was formed by business owners with the purpose of enhancing the downtown experience for residents, visitors, businesses, and the community. In the past, the board authorized the expenditure of economic development grant funds obtained through North Carolina Department of Commerce to assist the partnership in its incorporation. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions from the board? All right, well, we need a motion to approve the temporary closure and the co-sponsorship request.
Madam Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve the temporary closure, selection of Main Street, Campbell Street, Depot Street, and 4th Street, and approve the co-sponsorship request for the 2026 Meet on Main events.
All right, thank you. We have a motion to approve the temporary closure of sections of Main, Campen, Depot, and 4th, and to approve the co-sponsorship request for 2026 Meet on Main events. Is there any discussion on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? No. Okay, thank you very much. Item 6B is a decision to approve rankings and authorize the town manager to negotiate and sign a contract for the request for qualifications for professional concept and design services for the Recreation Center project.
Good evening again, Madam Mayor and Commissioners. Staff issued RFQ number 677 PR26-02 for professional concept and design services for the Recreation Center project. We requested those responses by 2 p.m. on November the 12th. The town received 30 responses to the RFQ by the deadline. Staff reviewed the submissions and ranked the responses based on submitted requirements in the RFQ document. Following the scoring process, the top 4 firms were brought in for a presentation to town staff. Below is the staff's ranking for those presentations. Excuse me. Our top score, HHA Architecture. Number 2, Davis Kane Architects. Number 3, ADW Architects. And number 4 was Design Collaborative. Upon approval, staff will negotiate and sign a contract for professional concept and design services and return the agreed contract to the board for approval. The FY26 budget provides funding for from the bond proceeds in the amount of $600,000 for professional concept and design of the Recreation Center project.
Any questions from the board?
Madam Mayor, I'll make a motion to accept the rankings for RFQ number 677-PR26-02 and authorize the town manager to negotiate and sign a contract for professional concept and design services for the Recreation Center project.
Okay, thank you. We have a motion to accept the rankings for RFQ number 67PR2602 and authorize the town manager to negotiate and sign contract for professional concept and design services for the Rec Center project. Is there any discussion on the motion? All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? No. All right, thank you all very much.
All right.
Item 6C is authorize the town manager to execute a task order for professional services for the Main Street Park designed by Surface 678 PA.
So back in February 10th, 2025, during board meeting, the board voted to accept the rankings for RFQ 2025-07 for professional design services for the Main Street Park project and authorize the town manager to negotiate a contract and return the agreed contract to the board for approval. Surface 678 PA is an approved contractor under an executed master agreement with the town for on-call professional services. And below, you'll see the scope of services provided in the agreement. This project cost is budgeted in the capital improvement plan for fiscal year 2025.
All right, any questions? Have a motion?
Mayor, I make a motion to approve the execution of task order for the Main Street Park design by Surface 678 PA and authorize the town manager to execute it.
right, so we have a motion to approve the execution of the task order for the Main Street Park design by Surface 678 PA. Is there any discussion on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, thank y'all. We'll move into we have no other business, commissioners' reports, and start with Commissioner Deloach.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. First off, I will say, just a reminder that we did open up our application process for our citizen advisory boards. We do encourage passion and participation, so make sure if you are interested to hop on that. Process is a pretty easy one. If you currently serve and you are eligible to serve again, we'll certainly ask that you consider that as well. Also a reminder, we did discuss community meetings for pedestrian traffic plans that we have upcoming. So again, we did recognize our communication guru this evening. So keep an eye on that and make sure that you attend. I do have quite a few folks that reach out from Wendell Falls and from downtown. Both areas obviously are impacted, so a lot going on. And make sure that you stop in and have your voice heard. We did miss a meeting earlier last month, obviously weather-related. We heard a little bit about that tonight, but I do want to applaud our town's emergency management folks. Obviously, staff here in Town Hall, as well as our public works employees. I've seen it firsthand. They work tirelessly. They always do, but they really did shine the last couple weeks. Kept us safe, obviously Wendell PD as well, so thank you for that. Probably best case scenario as far as an outcome. We had a pretty big thread of ice, made that through, I think, with minimal chaos. Limited emergency events, no real accidents to speak of, so a week after that we got a pretty snow to enjoy, unless you had school-age kids. Might have been a little bit of a struggle for a few days there, but thank you to everyone for your efforts. Really appreciate that. So that's it for me tonight, Madam Mayor.
Commissioner Eben?
Nothing else for me tonight, thanks.
Commissioner Honeycutt?
I'm going to piggyback on Commissioner Deloach on this one. I am routinely out and about in either downtown Wendell or in Treelight Square or whatever, getting a meal, seeing a friend, and invariably, I used to always pick on Commissioner Joyner about this. He would always thank the staff. And I thought, man, I think they've got it. We thank them every time. Isn't that enough? And, well, it's not. But I appreciate the smile from some of you. But what happens is they'll come to me and they'll go, hey, Braxton, so-and-so and so-and-so. And there'll be some small issue or minor thing they want to talk about. And I always leave them with this. Let me ask you one question. If you had to grade the town of Wendell, all the things that we do, parks, rec, human resources, staff, commissioners, taxes, whatever, development, you name it. Give us a letter grade, A, B, C, D, E, or F. Would you believe that invariably we get a B? And in my mind, in government work, that ain't bad, and I'll take that. So thank you, guys, and I always keep asking that question, but that, maybe an A is too hard, but it's gosh darn sure not failing. So thank you, and I appreciate it. And that includes the electeds to everybody in the room. Thanks.
Commissioner Ingalls?
I think just one thing. We're lucky that even though we did not have for the elections for our seats an early voting location in Wendell last fall, we still managed to have unusually high turnout on election day, and I would love to see voter participation continue now, especially now that we have, once again, a early voting location for other races at the Wendell Community Center starting on Thursday. Which is the 12th through February 28th. There will be primaries for both parties on various offices, including county commission, which is important because we have to partner with other governments to improve the lives of our citizens here in Wendell, and we need good governing partners. So I would encourage people to do the research on candidates and get out and have your voices heard, and you have a very convenient voting location to do so.
Thank you. Real quickly, I feel like I can't let the opportunity pass without thanking the public works staff and our police officers for everything that they did during the two It was called a lot of names leading up to it, but our weather events leading up, I think they wound up not being as bad as anticipated, which is great, but they were still enough, and it kept everyone busy. And it wasn't just those two departments that I mentioned as well. I don't think people realize it takes everybody at the town hall, and I'm sure that everybody at the town hall was very busy with communications, with all the other things that go along with. I know our town manager, and I'm sure that our assistant managers were involved in the meetings with Wake County, figuring out what everyone's going to do, and that collaborative effort that takes place. And that time spent trickles down to everyone else, and so it kept everyone really busy. And I just really appreciate your efforts. I think you already have really full plates. You need great, you need platters instead of plates. They're very busy. That's why we can do all the great things that we talked about tonight, is because we have such a great staff and they work very hard. And when you add back-to-back weather events on top of all their other work, it did make for challenging times. I recognize that. And I think Parks and Rec was even out there clearing roads and stuff, and you can't hold them back. They're so great. So thank you for that. I greatly appreciate it, though. Another thing I wanted to mention, last week I was invited to East Wake High School to mid-year graduation, and I mention this every year. I believe there were 80-some graduates, and I should have written the number down, and I didn't. But their parents and their grandparents and aunts and uncles and families were so very proud of them. And this is a special group of kids. It always is special because these young men and women either worked hard and achieved a lot early and graduated early, or they continued when they met some obstacles or hurdles that caused them to need another semester. And they continued when a lot of people would have quit. And I'm very, very proud of all of them. I talked to several of them before and after, and they are going to 2-year schools, 4-year schools, directly into the workforce, several into the military. They all had plans. They all were tremendously appreciative of me being there and thanked me for coming and recognizing them. And I'm just really proud of them, and I know they're going to go out and do great things, and I'm proud of them. So if any of them applied any jobs from any of you, you need to hire them, because this is a tenacious group of kids. They are, and I would hire them because they are not quitters, and a lot of people would have quit when they were challenged like that, and I'm proud of them for that. So anyhow, congratulations to this first part of the class of 2026, and I'm sure we're going to be hearing from them. Do we have a motion for a closed session?
We do, Madam Mayor. I move that we go into closed session pursuant to North Carolina General Statute 143-318-11A5.
All right, thank you. We're going, motion to go in closed session. All in favor?
Aye.